But now, within the first 60 days, you bombed Syria? Syria? Really? Like, where did that come from? But once again, it's quiet out there.
Welcome to Pull the Pin Already, a place where average veterans come to share their opinions on the world we live in. We can't guarantee you're going to like our opinions.
But we promise we're going to enjoy giving them to you.
I'm Jim.
And I'm Mike. Let's pull the pin.
And let's do that, Mike.
Yeah. I'm ready to pull the pin, Jim.
I can sense it in your voice, Mike.
Yeah, it just seems like we're, for lack of a better term, we're returning to some sense of normalcy within our American government.
Okay, so you're not talking about COVID, right?
No.
Okay, all right.
No, I'm talking about how within the first 60 days we already bombed somebody.
What?
Yeah. Who was it? Damn, we just dropped some bombs on. Damn, who the hell was it? I was just reading it, man. I'm sorry. I just got distracted.
That's okay, because it's news to me. Something I probably got to check out, but I did have a pretty busy last couple of days, so I wasn't really following any news.
Yeah, I was just reading up on it, and they said, was it in Syria? Wherever the hell it was.
More than likely.
Yeah. And I was like, damn, they've been kind of quiet, haven't they? Yeah, things have been quiet over there. And I'm like, So I'm trying to see, like, what's going on over there to where it needed this urgent reaction from the president, whereas in the last couple of years, let's say, there's been no action over there.
Well, there has been, but it's the opposite way. It was like peace treaties and people connecting, right?
So I'm like, man, it's just I don't know, man. It's just I don't know.
We already knew when the new administration came in, they're going to reverse and try to erase the previous administration. We knew that.
Right. That's standard.
I think that one of the disappointing things to me, though, in all of it was not that they're doing that, because we expected that. The disappointing thing is they're bringing back all the rats. The Carreys and Jim Carrey. You know what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. I said Jim. Yeah. The Carrey, all those rats are coming back in the house.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, I think. I think they're going right back to their old ways, almost like they were on a 4-year vacation.
Yeah. Yeah. But
and I'm hoping.
I don't know, man. It's just I didn't like one thing I always respected with the last 4 years was there's no war, there's no new defense contracts, let's say, out there. You know what I mean? Based solely off a upcoming war or some type of not necessarily a war, but a peace coalition. Whereas, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, go use all the code words, I'm sure.
Yeah, where, you need those American troops over there. So I'm like, but now within the first 60 days, you bombed Syria? Syria? Really? Like, where did that come from? But once again, it's quiet out there. It's quiet. It's just like I just posted on Facebook, man. I said, same thing, different party. You know what I mean? You guys are quiet. Like if Trump would have done that, Democrats would have been all over him. They would have been all over him. Oh, he's just trying to create war for this and for that, and wag the dog type things. But now it's like they're quiet. Why? Because their party did it, and it's like, okay, business as usual. Business as usual.
I'm always fascinated. Like I said, I know we can sit here all day and rag on politicians, but we know politics. We know the politicians.
Yeah.
It's really not the politicians that fascinates or disappoints me. It's really people. I mean, how divided they are and how just one-sided and what do you call it in the police? Tunnel vision. These people have tunnel vision that is just beyond belief.
Yeah. And, for a lot of the Democrats out there who who supported Biden Harris, and I'm like, they said they were going to do a lot of things. Like they never said they said they were going to entertain or at least explore reparations. Let's say now Biden's pulling back on that. You know what I mean?
Right.
He's like pulling back on a lot of things and that were black issues, if you will.
Right.
Right. But now you just made a whole bunch of you made it you got this procedure in place to make a whole bunch of illegals, millions of illegals, legal. So you kind of like catering to a different base, if you will.
Well,
You
I
know
look
what
at
I
that.
mean?
I don't even look at that as catering to a base as well as if you want to go back. They're just reversing or making the black community worse.
Yeah.
It's not just catering to illegals; they're also reversing, what they're promising to help out the black community and whatnot.
Right.
So I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't know where it's coming from. I don't know
Mm.
whose agenda this is. It just baffles me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and they so worried about getting now. It's like they starting to attack him on this $15 an hour minimum wage thing. You know, allegedly he said he was looking into that, or he was supporting that. Allegedly, I haven't. When I did the research, I haven't seen it where he actually said that. But and then now the reparations thing is gone, and I'm like, okay, here we go, here we
Right.
go. Can't blame that on Trump,
Right. Well,
you know.
reparations is not entirely gone. It's in the bank account of Black Lives Matter. I think it was like
Yeah,
$80 million.
yeah.
So all
Well,
the reparations are still
they're gonna need
sitting in
more
an
than
account
that.
somewhere.
They're gonna need
Yeah.
more than that.
Well, it's a good start.
Yeah.
It's a good start. Can at least get some help to the areas that
Well, and
need
that's
maybe
that's
schools
money.
and
That's
stuff.
not money that came from the government. That came from the people donating to it.
Right. And
Right.
I'm not sure if you can hear that, but I definitely have a little background music going on. Did you hear that?
No.
Good thing. So I don't know where it came from. It
Oh, I
just started playing.
thought you had a little joke going on there.
Nope, no, not this time.
So, what do you think about it, though, man? I mean, it's like when I say we're returning to some sense of normalcy. Here we go.
Well, well, I told you, Mike, I'm not surprised because the
Yeah.
same people are coming back to the same swamp. So I'm not surprised. I'm really not surprised by any of it. I'm not surprised by the hatred and the dumping of anything Trump, even erasing the word Trump from the dictionary. I'm not surprised by any of that. What I'm surprised
Is
about
that true?
is that, what?
Erasing the word from the dictionary?
No, but
Oh,
I'm
okay.
no,
I was
no,
like,
no.
man,
They are erasing, they are trying to erase history. But I'm saying is I'm not surprised by any of that. Even to take it to the magnitude of making the word Trump illegal. Like I'm not surprised by any of that.
Hmm.
I'm really surprised by, like what you just said, the people that are silent. Like even the people that tried to look in your face and say, "Oh no, Biden's better than Trump." And now look, I mean, they're not even getting what they asked for.
Right.
So how do you not, take egg on your face or, eat that proverbial pie, whatever they call it? I don't know.
I don't know. I think it's a simple case of their policy, their campaign was solely based on getting him out of office.
Yes.
Anyone but Trump.
Right. And he
You
didn't
know what I
promise
mean?
anything. He didn't even have time to answer questions.
Right. Yeah.
And people were okay with that. Now people are like, well, I don't even know if they are. They might be like you, just might be pretending. Oh, nothing's happening. Oh, wait for another year. Give them time.
Yeah, and that's the thing though. That happens. I have two friends of mine. They're quiet right now. They don't want to say anything. You
Right.
know, and they're diehard Republicans, and they're just quiet. They are totally quiet. I hit them up, and they don't even respond. And I'm like, wow, you guys don't have anything to say about Biden right now?
They're
And
Republicans or Democrats?
yeah, they're Republicans,
Hmm.
diehard Republicans, and they're just quiet
Sure.
because they know what I'm gonna say.
Right.
Just take the side and say, hey, don't you want to give him more time? Like you guys said with Trump,
Right.
so it's like, that's why I say, man, it's like we're going back to normal here, where some Republicans, a lot of Republicans, but like I say, Biden wakes up, they're going to complain. Same thing Democrats did with Trump. But now the Democrats are the ones that are quiet and remain supportive no matter what. And I'm like, what are you guys getting? Okay, Trump is gone. I got that. I'm not comparing him to Trump. anymore. I'm not doing that anymore. All right. So just tell me, what are you guys getting with Biden?
Well, I think, if he's not doing something, like he's not following through on a promise yet, that's okay. Give him more time. I get that. He's not going to change it in the first 60 days, 90 days. I mean, even Trump's wall took a while. The thing I'm conflicted with is he's doing something,
Right.
but it's not the things he said he was going to do or anything that we all want to do. Well, I don't say we all. I can't speak for everybody. To
Right.
me, it's not things that are moving the country forward like their whole projection is. Let's move forward. So let's alienate all these other people by bringing in these people who don't even belong to this country and make them part of the country.
Right.
So it would be a different story if he wasn't doing anything yet. Give him time to settle in, and I'm all for that. I'm not
Right.
stupid. Everybody's had a new job, knows you don't just walk in and start taking over. You got to feel out the environment. You got to see what's working, what's not working. So I'm okay with that. But he's already doing things like 57 executive orders, a whole bill
Well,
on, like you
yeah.
talked about. I
See,
mean,
but no. See, this is the thing. When Obama was first elected, he had the same thing. They had control the first 2 years. So a lot of people were like, why didn't he try to pass the Affordable Care Act back then? You know what I mean? It was
sure.
already written, but it's what happened happened. But my thing was, why didn't you try to get a lot of things through then when you had the House, you had the Senate, whatever, right? You had control. But now he has control. But it's like, yeah, you're doing executive orders. I'm like, damn, really?
Well, they are pushing through the whole LGBT thing, right? Isn't
Yeah,
that something?
yeah, yeah.
So I don't know if that was one of his promises or not, but that they're pushing that through. And now illegals are
Yeah.
trying to push through. So once again, your black vote, take it for granted, and I am not sad for you anymore. Not sad. Well,
I
for you,
don't
Mike,
blame
I
you.
am. For you, I am, Mike. But you keep wasting yours on libertarian. But if you're out there and you're advocating that Trump sucks and Biden's a man and he's going to help and da, 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 yeah, I'm not sad anymore. I'm not even the compassion level is just dropping.
Well, I guess I'm hoping that a lot of people will see this and then they'll see something I've been saying for years now, how both sides they are part of the problem,
Hmm.
So yeah, I need to cross over not to that other side, but to a new side.
Right, and don't get caught up in.
Give it a shot. And then, I don't understand why millions of people, if you look at the past, real quick, I might be off a year or two, 32 years, right? As far as the president goes, half of those were for one party, the other half was for the other party. And no matter what, you want to go back 4 years with Trump, we're still saying the same thing. You want to go
Yep.
back 8 years with Obama, we're still seeing the same things. So I'm like, why do we keep giving these two parties control over our country, right? And you don't want to try anything new when you can't say anything negative about that other party. You can't say anything
Hmm.
because no one's ever given them a chance.
Right.
So I'd rather stick with either Jim or Mike. No matter what, we're going to be in the same boat. So, okay, Jim is not as bad as Mike to one side, and Mike is not as bad as Jim to the other side. So, there goes that idiotic term, lesser of two evils.
Hmm.
You know,
That's what.
Mike is bad, but not as bad as Jim. Jim
Right.
is bad, but not as bad as Mike. And here we are today. If you go back 30, like I said, maybe 32 years, it's the same thing. It's the same exact thing.
Yeah, that's why we always get a third guest on here.
I don't get it, man. It just, I guess I can honestly say I'm getting tired of it.
Well, Mike, let me propose this to you because I agree with everything you just said there. I just personally believe that Trump was that third. I know he ran under the Republican ticket and he's surrounded by Republicans who are definitely in on the program, but I still think he was the chance to break the mold. And the Republicans and Democrats allowed that all to just get pushed aside and bring back in the establishment.
Mm,
He's not a politician, whether you
Yeah,
like
but
the
you
guy or
can't
not.
really say he was at third if he's aligning himself with one of the two.
Well, because he's smart. He knows that if he went libertarian, he wasn't getting in. He knew he had to pick one of the losing or lesser of two evils. He had to pick one. So he was
Nah.
still a chance to break the mold. I think he could have broke because Republicans were jumping ship on him. Republicans were even talking now about forming a new Republican Party because people still support Trump.
Right.
So he was essentially creating a new party within the Republican Party. So I give it, like I said, you got a more of a history of politics because to me they were boring back then. So I'm just going off what I see recently. And I've never been interested in politics. Trump came along, he changed the game a little bit, gave me a little bit of hope that it wasn't going to be the same crap every 4 years, every 8 years.
So you don't see it as it was the same thing even under Trump? Like
Well, I
I
don't.
you say it wasn't because of the military, from the military aspect of it all.
Well, the caveat I said is Trump is one man. Like consider myself, even if I walked into the presidency today just by accident and became the president, I can't just make everything up. You know, I'm still relying on the people around me, the cabinet. You know, bring some certain people in. Sometimes he brought in some duds because he tried to bring in people he trusted, but they didn't fit well. You know, with the program, and there's no doubt. You know, we can question that, but he's still surrounded by people that were recommended to him, that he put into positions because they already knew the job. I mean, he still had so much to learn just by the people surrounding him. And we can admit they were all some wolves in sheep's clothing there. We know that. It's pretty obvious.
Yeah, but I don't care because hey, when it was happening on during other presidential terms, the president got the heat for it. So you got to take the heat. You
Well,
know?
and I agree. But I'm not saying that the president's the solution. I was saying he was a crack in the door because if we could have got him to grab the American people and push for things like term limits and things like that, then the pressure would have been on Congress to enforce things on themselves to control themselves instead of allowing them to just get pay raises and go in there forever and become millionaires for life. He was that crack because he did say what he thought. He didn't play their game. So he could. I don't think he could have done it alone. I just don't think he was ever going to have enough support because the very people that need to be fixed are the ones that were voting to be
Yeah,
fixed.
and they're never going to vote against themselves.
Correct.
They're
And
never
that's
going to
proven
vote
right
against
now.
their livelihood, right?
Yeah, proven right
Yeah.
now.
That's
They're
sad, man.
they're two in the system.
And here we are once again. What do we always say? We suffer. The American citizens, we suffer because of it.
Well, that's why it's funny because I like to call that January 6th. There, if that was really if the people were angry, we wouldn't have a president that was on the ballot today, because that January 6th 9/11 thing that happened. I'm not even going to call it what it was. That thing that was so fierce and threatening to our country. If it was done by the American people who were pissed off, no, we wouldn't be talking about President Biden today.
Well, you don't
Maybe
believe
not
they were
President
pissed
Trump
off,
either.
though?
Huh?
You don't believe they were pissed off?
No, they're pissed off, but they were clearly not organized to take over a government.
Right. Okay.
That's why I'm saying I won't even recognize the extreme terms they're trying to use, because if that was really what that was, we could have taken over the government if we wanted. That's not. I don't think it's a question in this country. You don't think so? You don't think there's enough ammunition and organization? I don't mean me and you.
No, I mean that little group that was there. You think they could have taken over the
Oh,
government?
hell no, hell no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why I was saying I think that was a plan, a plot, whether it was intentional or just stoked. That was just a little riot that just people wanted to make a statement and get clicks on YouTube or Instagram. That was not what they're trying to make it to be, because if it was going to be that, there's plenty of groups around here that are organized, even if you want to call it the Proud Boys. I mean, if the Proud Boys themselves showed up, it would have been...
There were some Proud Boys there, you know that, right?
Sure, but if they showed up as an organized group with the intent to take over the government, we wouldn't be having this conversation the same way today.
Really?
You think they couldn't have done more damage than what would happen?
So when you say, okay, maybe when you say take over the government,
What's an insurrection?
no, I mean, no, you think the Proud Boys they can take over the government if they wanted to?
Well, I can't say that 100%, but they're well more organized than what happened on the 6th, which is why I refuse to call it an insurrection.
I don't know. I haven't seen them in action. Okay.
Well, I've seen some smaller little militia groups that've been in the news and stuff, and you see how they'll put their training out there. They train. They're well equipped.
Yeah,
Their mission is not to take over the government. It's to protect their
right.
people.
I got you. I got you. But I don't really see them any group taking over the government though.
I don't see them wanting to.
Oh, okay, but I'm just saying you're giving these Proud Boys a lot of I don't
Well,
know.
my point was that an
Yeah,
organized
yeah.
militia could have made it an insurrection. That's why I won't accept this as an insurrection. Because it
Mm.
wasn't some organized militia. It was either planted or a bunch of mad, angry people that wanted to get Facebook and live streamed and photos in Pelosi's office. So it wasn't an insurrection. That's why I refuse to recognize it as that. Because I know we're capable as a country of an insurrection if we really wanted one.
Okay. I don't know much. Like I said, I haven't seen or know much about the Proud Boys to know if they
Get
can
up.
actually do it. But I'm gonna go out and say no. If the Proud Boys got with the Black Lives Matter group and they got with every gang in this country, I don't see it happening.
Really?
Yeah, I
Huh.
really don't. As
You
long
don't
as
see it happen
you
because they're
have the
not
military
capable?
backing you, ain't no group gonna take it, man. They ain't gonna be able to take over the country. The government.
Okay, all right, right. Okay, I understand what you're saying, right. I get what you're saying. But the 6th, it could have happened. Because there was no military ready, it would have happened on the 6th and ended on the 6th. Or maybe the
Oh,
morning of
okay.
the
All
7th.
right. All right. I'll agree with
Yes,
you on that.
yes. Yeah, I'm
I'll
sorry,
agree with
maybe.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, my point was is they're trying to call it an insurrection with selfies and cameras and a couple people getting hurt, which are mostly Trump supporters. That's not an insurrection. If a true insurrection would have happened, it might have been a standoff, and then the military could have been activated, and it could have all been done, whatever. But my point being, that's why I won't call it an insurrection. And any one
Okay.
of those organized groups could have done a whole lot better than what happened on January 6th, but they're using this, and we know they're using this to push their agenda.
Their agenda is to use anything
Right,
to get more control over the citizens.
right.
I
But they,
think we agree with that.
But it blows my mind. It blows my mind that this is so hard to see. Like I get the team sports. We've talked about this a million times. Like I get the team sports. My team loses in the Stanley Cup. I want to blame the refs or I want to say, oh, the other team cheated. Yeah, I get that. But my team lost. Like they didn't
Yeah.
score enough goals. They still lost. At some point, I have to go back and say, well, people aren't doing that, or they're hiding right now. They're
Right.
doing it
Right.
and they're hiding and
Yeah.
hoping that something else happens so they can come back out and say, hey, my team's winning again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's just the way it is. American politics at its best.
So the politics we already know it's going to be a hard change because the people making the rules are the ones that have to make the rules because they're the ones affected by the rules and they're the ones that are really the problem. So how do we change
And
the American people's mind though?
one mind at a time.
That could take a long time. You know how many presidents that is?
Yeah.
Maybe they could put it in the vaccine.
Okay. Okay. All right. Oh, I left my gun in the house. I was going to shoot myself. But no, I mean, just each one reach one. I don't know, man. I really don't. Yeah, I think you need no. That doesn't even work these days. No, I was gonna say you need something tangible for people to be able to see and touch as evidence. You know what I mean? That the way that we're going in this country is wrong. Like I'm all about helping. Like for me, that's kind of like why I wish Tim was on here today because I wanted to talk to him about that one topic. But for me, there's good policies, if you will, on both sides. And it's like if you have 10 policies from the left and 10 policies from the right, let's say 5 of each, I can agree with. Right? But the problem is people on the left will never agree
Right.
with one policy from the right and vice versa. The right's never going to agree with the left on any policy. And I'm getting back to the people is trying to get people to see that is absolutely crazy to me that you can't agree on anything, nothing.
Right.
The closest I've seen was when the towers came down and President Bush had that approval rating
Right.
through the roof.
Because we had a common enemy.
Exactly.
Right now, we are the enemy of
Exactly.
each other. And
Yep.
that's why I said I was going to ask you if you got on board with that, because I heard that before. I may have mentioned it. Is that the left, the right thinks the left is people with bad ideas, but the left thinks the right is bad people with ideas.
Mm.
And I found that very interesting because that almost falls lockstep with what you said, because even I personally believe that there are some really great left wing causes.
Right.
You know, they always come up with this, hey, let's care about this, let's care about this, let's care about that. The problem I have is they're not the managers. They're the creative, they're the artists, but they can't run the business
Right.
because they
Right.
keep running off in different directions and emotions, and which is great because we need them.
Yeah.
We need their ideas. We need their creativity. If they would just be willing to hand over the execution to the people who are used to managing and not wasting,
Right. I agree.
then we'd probably be getting further. But
I
they
can
really
agree with
think
that.
that they really think that they're bad people, and that's
Yeah.
why they paint Republicans as racists. Because
You
if
had
they
to.
just
You just had to bring that in the conversation.
what?
No, go
Why?
ahead. Sorry. This is always.
Well, I mean, I'm so used to you calling me the racist, so I had to get that
Well, I
out.
think by now everyone knows how true that is,
Oh
but
my god.
no, it's true that I always call you the racist. That's
Oh,
what.
right, right. I was gonna say I'm gonna direct all my death threats to you. I will
Yeah.
hand out your number and name. He will be my
But no, you're
support for
right.
the day.
You're right. I agree with you. I agree. That's why they always use that terrible title for every single one of them. It's not right.
Right. So let me ask you this, because we were talking about Trump. Trump wrote a book, and a lot of people talk about his art of the deal. Like Trump, do you believe Trump was a good negotiator?
Yeah.
And a part of being a good negotiator is to try to find a win-win for everybody, right?
No, not always. No.
Well, a dictator will tell you what's happening.
No, I think a negotiator can try to convince you that you have a good deal, but he has the better side of the deal.
That's fine, but
Yeah.
still the end result is when you buy that car after that negotiation, you have to walk off that lot feeling like you got your money's worth.
Right. Even though you probably didn't, but yeah,
Well,
I
that's
get.
fine. But the point is there has to be some concession back and forth. There has to be at least the belief that you're getting what you want.
Right.
That's negotiations.
Right.
And you'd think that he was negotiating a lot, which is a representation of why there weren't any bombings. Right? While we were walking into these countries and saying, you're going to pay more because you promised to pay more, or we're not going to do this. That's a negotiation. It may be a more of a tactical threat kind, but it's a fair negotiation. They're not going to say, no, 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 we're just going to pay you more without any. They got something out of it. Even if it was,
Would you say it was more of that or more that he said, hey, you said you were going to pay this money. Now it's time to pay up?
well, the president before him didn't get that accomplished.
No, I'm just saying. I think is no. I guess we're saying the same thing now.
Yeah, the point I'm getting at is he was a negotiator.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was literally negotiating, and that is something we need in this country. We need less of his rhetoric and his attitude, but we need negotiation because we need to be able to come to the table, like you just said, left side, right side, and say, hey, look, these are the causes we're looking to accomplish. And let's say, where is our end goal? What's our vision? Because I have a feeling most people in this world, they want the same result. You know what I
Right.
mean? They want the same thing. We just can't agree on how to get there or what things mean. So come to the table, a little negotiation. Start from the vision. Say, okay, this is what we're trying to achieve, and then work from there because it's a common ground.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Mike, the pessimist. We're trading roles now, Mike.
Yeah, I know, man. But it's just like things that I'm seeing now. I'm like, man, we're just going right back to the way we were.
Right, which means we have to try a different tactic. Something has to be different. It has to be.
Mm.
We can't keep doing the same thing and expect different results. That's the definition of insanity.
Well, yeah, that means we're insane as a people because here we are fighting for one side of the aisle to be in control, and we're still
Right,
complaining.
right,
As a nation, we're still complaining. Like for instance, if someone says, "Man, I just can't find a job" or whatever, and people say, "Well, you need to get off your ass," I'm like, man, are we talking to those people? You know what I mean?
right.
Are we like talking to people and trying to figure out like the root cause of this? No,
Right,
no, we don't. We don't. We just, hey, I did it, so why can't you, Jim?
right.
You know what I mean?
Well,
It's
we know
like I said
communication.
before. Say what?
Communication comes with compassion.
Yeah.
So, I'm having the same. I don't want to say issue. That's not really fair. Yeah, I got. I'm part of an HOA. I told you that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm part of an HOA, and I've been in some discussions, possibly considering being on the HOA. And I'm running into a lot of negative Nancy stuff, which I can relate to because I lived in that depression, that state of mind for a little while. And these people are like, no, we've tried that. That didn't work. People are this, people are that. And I'm just sitting here like, well, clearly you haven't tried everything because it's possible. All things are possible.
Right.
And what I see is a lot of and I related it to, you can relate to this because law enforcement. When you look at things from the law enforcement perspective, if that's how you treat everyone, then all you got to do is go write tickets and put people in jail.
Is it?
Right, but that's not what the objective is. That's not even the vision of law enforcement. I mean, there's this thing called voluntary compliance. That's why we have penalties. So people say, oh, well, it's probably in my best interest to obey the law. But ultimately, we want them to be obeying the law because they believe in what it's there for.
Right.
So that's the ultimate thing. So if I lock you up today and take you to jail, did that fix it? Well, maybe it might fix for you,
Right,
but
right.
it doesn't fix it for everybody. So you just can't go in this like, oh, everybody needs to be penalized. Like these people's attitudes are like, we should just kick these people out of the neighborhood. Like, so what are you going to do? You're going to start your own little cult and put it in a little community? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, some people, yeah, if they continue to do this, then they need to go.
Right, and yet they don't even know why it's happening.
Right. Yeah, that's what we talked about before.
Yeah, they have no clue why. Just go talk to your neighbor. Say, hey, I notice your grass is too long. Me personally, that doesn't bother me. But if it's against the HOA, we got to go talk to them. We got to send them a thing. But go ask them. Why
Right.
is your grass so long? Are you too busy? Are you a single parent? What's going on? How can I help you?
Right, right.
None of that's happening.
Never.
So,
Hardly ever.
well, I mean, some people are doing it. Like neighbors are helping each other. I see it. I'm just saying, if you're going to jump to the conclusion that everybody needs to be penalized and, exiled, yeah, you better tell me how you got that, how you got to that point.
Right. I agree, man. I agree 100%.
How do we foster that, though? We have to model it for one, I'm sure, right?
Yeah. I mean, it was one of the great artists, NDRE said, better people. She has a song about better people. If this person would just talk to that person, we'll be a better people.
Right.
I think if Democrats and Republicans would just talk to each other, and I'm not even talking about the politicians. We can force them to do it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But if we start doing it, in our neighborhoods and our communities and everything, then we'll force them to do it.
Yeah.
I
agree.
mean? But like you said, that's going to take a long time.
Well, it's not impossible. I think we just need to figure out what's worked and what hasn't worked. There are people in my neighborhood that come together. They're amazing people. And then literally one of those amazing people, I just got a message from today telling me like, oh, that's great. That's not going to happen. I'm like, you're giving to all these charities and helping all these people out. And then you're telling me there's no way to fix your own neighborhood.
Wow.
Like something's missing, dude. Something's missing.
Yeah.
And, I don't have the answers, but I recognize that we need to try something different. So I'm going to give you left-wing people a break.
Yeah, right. When you do that, then I'll start giving the left and the right a break.
Mike, I'm gonna officially be libertarian now.
Dude, you just never mind. I can't say it. We don't know. I'll wait till you cut the camera off, then I'll say.
Well,
hey, one mind at a time.
One mind at a time.
Yeah, one mind at a time, man. That's the best we could do, I guess.
All right, I'm starting with mine.
Yeah, and that it ain't changed since episode 1.
What are you talking about?
Dude, since episode 1, you were racist. Now you still racist.
I am the worst racist in the world. This is what, our 66th actual episode? I mean, it's way more than that. You count the other ones? I've kept you on this for this long?
Hey.
Like, is this, community service. I got it. Dude, I forgot about
that
that.
is. That
I knew there was a reason. All right, you done beating this one to death? Because we got to find ways to reach out to people and get them to change and start opening up.
Starting good with that. Our one group, the vets. You know what I mean? And the vets can get it out there.
Yeah, and I think that's
the vets.
And that's prime, and that's for anybody watching. Like that's my intention is like I want to pull some of these vets in that are sitting and I don't want to say sulking. That's really hard, but they're lost without a mission, without a purpose. And you know what? They're leaders. Like I don't care what rank you made, you're leaders. Like
That's
you've
right.
been through and seen
Right.
things that people have not no clue what the dark side is and what how it affects people. So
That's right.
get on here, become part of the community. Let's start something bigger. Let's branch this out. Let's be the leaders that we're supposed to be and start changing this country to what it's supposed to be as well.
That's right. A
So
better place for all.
yeah. So on that token, do you want to jump to our pull the pin or person of the week or
Yeah,
whatever
let's
you
do it.
want to?
Let's do it.
All right. Well, let's just do it then. Which one do you want to do?
Uh, I'm gonna do a repeat. I have to do a repeat person of the week because I have to wait all the way until next year to bring this up. This is my good friend, my cousin, uh, Black Eyes. This is personal, real near and dear to my heart. Val James, that's my cousin. It's a Val James story. He's the first American-born black man to play in the National Hockey League. Look it up. It's a great read. I'm telling you, you'll learn a whole lot more about hockey. All right, because I know all about hockey. I know more than Jim does. He's gonna say I don't because he's that type of guy. But anyway, get the book. I'm telling you, it's a good read. Thank you.
Yeah. I just wanted to explain the concept of icing to me.
Icing.
Yes.
Oh, that's when they skating down and you do the blade, and then you put the ice in the guy's face.
Just buy the book. Just for mercy's sake, buy the book. And to mention, in the last episode, I did put the link in the description where the book can be found.
Yeah,
And if I remember, I'll do it again this time.
you won't,
Yeah.
because of the type of guy you are.
And just keep a positive role. Well, I'm going to go to.
Uh-oh. Oh, just
No, I'm going to do it like a person of the week now. I want to do this.
Oh my goodness.
What?
Go ahead.
I'm going to call Clarence Thomas, Justice Clarence Thomas, to the table.
Wow.
After I heard that they declined to take the was it the Georgia or no the Pennsylvania case in the Supreme Court because they didn't have standing in the beginning because nothing happened, and then it was too late in the end, and we can finally put an end to this unfair, whether you think it affected the election or not, the unfair electoral practices. He literally stood up when they voted down, and let me tell you, Barrett and the other guy Kavanaugh that we went through all that trouble to get in there, refused to take the case, and Clarence wrote this. I don't know what they're called. I'm not a legal guy, but he called them all out. Not that it's going to do anything, but he called them all out, and I have so much respect for this man because he knows that this is an issue that needs to be resolved no matter what team you're on. So I'm giving it to him, and hopefully it goes somewhere.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
And
All right. But I will say this.
I think he's black.
The
Right?
one thing I never understood is why is it that there's never any type of infraction mentioned in those states that traditionally go either way. Either way. There's no talk about they were doing this, they cheated over here in Idaho.
Well, I don't think that's 100% accurate. And
Okay.
the reason I say that because even like on the swing states, they're mostly you're not going to hear from the majority of states because they're usually lopsided. Even if they're cheating, they're usually so lopsided that it doesn't matter. It's the swing states, the ones that do that. And didn't
Okay,
Stacey Abrams do that?
but hear me out though. That's what I'm talking about. Now you say it's so lopsided. They probably cheated, but no one's saying anything.
Well, right, because it didn't affect anything like they're saying now. It didn't affect the outcome. And I agree with you. Don't get me wrong. Cheating is cheating. Then they should address it to stop it. But I don't think anybody cared enough to look into it. Like right now, people on each side of the fence, they're looking at their neighbor's yard to see if they're growing weed. You know what I mean? They're looking in the yard. Where before, they probably said, people are probably cheating, but there's nothing we can do because it's just so lopsided anyway. Or they're on the same team and they don't care. But I agree with you. Yeah. It should. Now I think Trump brought out a lot. Trump pulled the curtains out on a lot of things, whether you like the guy or not. But Clarence Thomas, yes. Respectable man. We need like 6 more of them. So let's pack the courts with 6 more of him.
Okay, yeah. You can have them.
And as far as packing, we're going to pack it up right here. And we're going to end this episode. Thank you all for watching. Make sure you go to our website, pullthepinalready.com. Make sure you like, subscribe, all the fun stuff we ask you to do. Make sure you get involved. This is for you guys. If you're veterans, reach out to us. It's all for you guys. You can be part of our show. You can be part of this growing community. And until the next time, Godspeed.
And pull the pin. Pullthepinalready.com.
Thanks for joining us here. Pull the pin already. We hope you had as much fun as we did. If you like what we do, go ahead and hit that like button and share this video with a friend. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell button so you don't miss out on any of our future episodes. But most importantly, leave a comment below. Let us know if you agree or disagree with our opinions. Hope to see you here next time on Pull the Pin Already.